Welcome to this week's episode of Falcon Fever. I'm Dorothy Sherman, and we are your weekly source to Montevallo sports. Coach Statisticos will join us in a moment from the sports room. We start this week with women's volleyball and the games that led them into the first round of the PBC tournament. Friday, the Lady Falcons played a doubleheader against SC Aiken and Miles College. The Falcons were down 2 sets, but they started a huge comeback in the third set, winning 25-13. After grabbing momentum, the Falcons went on to win the fourth set, tying the game 2-2. In the final set, the Falcons were down 24-21. Yet they rallied behind Brittany Wilson and Katie Handrick to gain the lead to win 15-13. In the second match of the night, Montevallo played a dominating performance against Miles College. Katie Johnson led with 10 kills and 4 service aces as Montevallo took an early 2-set lead. The Falcons would take the victory in the end by a shutout score of 3-0. The women's volleyball team would close out the regular season the next day in the game against Lander. The Falcons got out to a quick lead in the first set with a 25-17 win. The second set went back and forth, but Montevallo was able to score the final 5 points to win the second set. The third set proved to be the toughest as both teams refused to let the other take advantage. In the end, Montevallo came up with the victory, ending the game in their second straight shutout of 3-0. The Falcons return to the court this Friday as they compete in the first round of the PBC tournament by going on the road against SC Aiken. Women's volleyball coach Katie O'Brien gave us her take on the team's upcoming journey in the conference tournament.
My name is Katie O'Brien. I'm the head volleyball coach at Montevallo. The volleyball team has had a very good year this year. We're newcomers in the Peach Belt Conference, so that's been a learning experience, playing different teams home and home. We played well this weekend, and that helped us finish 4th in conference. And we go to the tournament this weekend, which is in USC Aiken. We are actually playing them on their home court on Friday. Saturday we have a brunch of champions, and if we win Friday, we will play Saturday at a time to be determined. If we win that, we'd be in the championships on Sunday at 2 o'clock, and it will be webcast. So I invite everyone to watch, and there'll also be live stats.
We now go to Coach Statisticos in the sports room for details on soccer and cross country.
The men's soccer team competed in the second round of the PBC tournament against number 1 seed Flagler. Flagler got on the board first after a penalty kick due to a Montevallo handball. Matt Moan tied the game later as he scored on a loose ball. Both teams were tied 2-2 as overtime began. Unfortunately, the Falcons could not hang on as Flagler scored the game winner to end the season for the men's soccer team. The final score: Flagler 3, Montevallo 2. The women's soccer team was also in the playoffs as well as they faced off against GCSU in the second round of the PBC tournament. The Falcons fell behind early as the Bobcats took a 1-0 lead into halftime. It was a whole different story in the second half as the Lady Falcons scored the game-tying goal with just 10 minutes left in the match. Several minutes later, Montevallo was awarded with a penalty kick. Erin Duncan would come up clutch, making the biggest kick of her career, putting the Falcons ahead 2-1, clinching the victory. The win placed the Lady Falcons in the PBC championship game against second seed Armstrong Atlantic. Unfortunately, the magic would end there. The Falcons looked strong early as they took a 1-0 lead. The Falcons would go into the half with a tie of 1-1. However, a different Armstrong Atlantic team emerged in the second half as the Pirates would score 4 goals while Montevallo was only able to answer with 1. The Lady Falcons tournament run ended with a loss of 5-2 to the Pirates of Armstrong Atlantic. Last weekend, the Montevallo women's cross-country team raced to its best region finish in school history as they placed 6th in the 23-team field. Jenny Davis led the Falcons as she ran her best race of the season, finishing 16th overall. Haley Evans and Kaylee Glover were also top finishers as the Falcons placed 4th among teams from the Peach Belt Conference. The Falcons ended this season as the best in school history. Montevallo returns all but one runner next season and will look to improve on an amazing season. We now head back to Dorothy to tell us about the upcoming basketball season.
Well, the men's basketball season doesn't officially start till next week, but last week Montevallo competed in an exhibition game against the Alabama Crimson Tide. Freddie Little scored a team high of 17 points while hitting 4 of 7 three-point attempts. The Falcons led only once throughout the game as they were unable to match the speed and talent of the Division I opponent. Overall, the Falcons looked impressive as they lost their exhibition game by a score of 81-53. Montevallo will officially begin the season next Monday as they open against Southeastern Bible College at home and then travel to Miles for their first road game. The women's basketball team also begins next week as well as the Lady Falcons open against Clark Atlantic at home. Head coach Brittany Ezell voiced her excitement about her team's upcoming season.
Coming off a pretty exciting year last year, made the conference tournament for the first time in 5 years, doubled the win total from the year prior, and returned a lot of starters, so looking forward to 09-10. Students are watching this. We would love to have a good crowd. I know that my players are out around campus and you see them a lot and you see me across campus, but we would love to have you guys at the gym on Monday, 5:30. Be there to support the girls, and the guys play right after, 7:30. Love to see you there.
This week's Falcon Fever Player of the Week is women's volleyball player Katie Johnson. Katie Johnson is actually here with us today to talk about her team's upcoming game in the PBC tournament. Katie, what are your expectations for Montevallo in the upcoming tournament?
I think we'll do really well. We play USC Aiken in our opening game, and we've played them twice already and beat them both times. But hopefully we will beat them in 3 games and get it over with quick so we can move on and focus on our next game against probably Flagler.
Definitely sounds like a plan. Now, in your last game, if I'm not mistaken, you hit an opponent in the face with one of your strikes. How do you feel about that?
It's really exciting. Anytime any of us gives an opponent the facial, it gets everybody pumped and it makes everybody play better and play harder. So I think it's definitely a momentum changer in the game.
Good deal. I agree. Well, thank you for joining us today, and now we take it back to Dorothy.
Well, if you would like to watch a replay of today's show or any other show of the past week, visit our website at montevallo.edu/MC or just look us up on YouTube by searching Falcon Fever. If you have any pictures of Montevallo on the road, please send them to us. You can send them to masscom00@gmail.com. Well, that's all we have for this week. I'm Dorothy Sherman. Keep your eye on the ball, and we'll see you again next week.